With weather in Nebraska, you should probably expect the unexpected. We're going to give you a look at how unusual this weather's truly been. Good afternoon, I'm Megan Lackman.
And I'm Josh Gear. After another Democratic Senator favorite dropped his name out of the race, we'll show you how that affects the Democratic Party. You're watching the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
The UNO Indoor Soccer Dome is still closed after being partially deflated this past Saturday. The dome, located at 68th and Spring, ripped on the side due to heavy snow. Inside, there were a few broken lights and a couple of broken soccer goals, but nobody was injured. The UNO maintenance staff made a temporary fix and reinflated the dome, but more permanent repairs will be made this week. The university is working with a company from Minnesota to repair the gash.
Despite the heavy snowfall this past weekend, Omaha's had one of the mildest winters in history. But how will that affect the crops and plants in the metro area?
Elizabeth Valla is in the newsroom with more. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Megan and Josh. With record temperatures one day and a blizzard the next, this has truly been an unusual Nebraska weather. I talked with a couple of experts asking them what it has in store for our plants. Weather which is very unusual for a Nebraska winter.
Periodically you'll get winter storms that come in and give you snow and precipitation. Well, what's happened is that the jet stream is different this year. It's broken down into two parts, basically, what we call a split flow. So part of the jet stream is up north in Canada and it's going down into the Great Lakes and to the eastern part of the U.S., and part of it's down to the south.
The relatively mild weather so far this winter has resulted in dry ground.
The main side effect that's a concern right now is the lack of moisture.
Deep soil moisture that is needed to help crops grow.
The National Weather Service has told us what the farmers possibly have in store this spring, but what do the horticulturists have to say about our plants?
I don't feel like the weather we're going to have now is going to be a huge effect on plants. It has been much more mild, but I've checked plants, particularly around here and in my own yard, and they seem to be still good and dormant. I feel like what we're having now is really not going to cause any permanent long-term damage.
With winter feeling like spring, we can only hope spring won't feel like winter. With nearly a foot of snow on the ground, the next week is supposed to be in the upper teens and the lower 20s, so it's supposed to be look a little more Nebraska-like, and with the exception of Thursday, we're looking at a high of 34. Josh?
Elizabeth Ballard reporting live. Thank you. With temperatures dropping, a group of people are fundraising to help the unfortunate in this winter season. The 5th annual Walk for Warmth was held this past week at Westroads Mall. Participants of the walk trekked 1 mile around the mall's interior road to support local energy assistance programs. Funds raised by the walk help metro area seniors, people with disabilities, and others in financial need keep warm in the harsh winter conditions and cool extreme heat of the summer. The Heartland Walk for Warmth campaign is supported by a broad coalition of local utilities, metro area nonprofit organizations, corporations, and government representatives, and concerned citizens. If you'd like to donate to the Walk for Warmth, go to their website at heartlandwalkforwarmth.org. Coming up on the Omaha News, the economy is affecting the majority of citizens in this country.
But there's one local bar owner that not only has one but two successful businesses in the area. We'll show you who after the break.
Something wasn't right.
Were they lying to the public?
There was a bigger story here than just a plane crash.
It's become the symbol of everything that's wrong with the industry.
My kid got 6 vaccines in one day and he regressed.
Not only are those children who aren't vaccinated at risk, but those who can't be vaccinated are at risk.
Nobody really knew what was going on. What was it in this market that had to be hidden?
I spent millions of dollars in cash, bribing government officials.
People in power do not like the investigation to come too close to them.
You never hear these stories.
Tuesdays on NET1.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on NET1.
UNO Television gives students a chance to work in a real studio. Working on the TV crew, students get hands-on experience with lights, camera, and action. Working on a variety of shows gives students a leg up looking for jobs. In fact, many former crew members work at local stations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for students to learn the science and art of TV production. UNO TV, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
PBS is the place you should go first.
There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously. We are constantly thinking about our viewers and what they care about.
We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think.
At the News Hour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
You're watching the Omaha News.
There are a lot of bars and restaurants in Omaha area, so it would be very hard to manage two of them at the same time. I talked to one bar owner that's doing just that and learned how he keeps his businesses going through rough economic times.
Even when you have a business plan, you always have an idea of how you're going to address something and how you're going to address the target market that you're shooting for in your concept, and you forecast and you plan for what's going to be hard, or your seasons what are going to be slower. And anything I've done business plan wise on any of the businesses, I've been able to kind of hit my goals, but I've never hit them the way I thought I would.
Jason started Lit Lounge and Tapas Bar on 180th and Pacific, along with Capitol Lounge and Supper Club on 10th and Capitol.
The average bar in Nebraska is open about 7 years. I've developed my own concept each time, and picked my own location and kind of paved my own path. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the unknown's always, it's a little more relevant. You're only as good as people you surround yourself with. And I don't necessarily believe you're only as strong as your weakest link, like some people might say. But you're definitely only as good as people around you. And the reason I say the difference between weakest link is I look at things as a team, and a team sport. And if you have a really good team with good team chemistry, you can kind of mesh and cover for, I wouldn't say hide, but cover for someone's weakness.
For more information about either of Jason Himberger's businesses, go to capitalomaha.com or litomaha.com for his new business, Tapas Bar and Lounge.
On Super Bowl Sunday, there were a couple of Nebraska ties in the Giants' 21-17 victory, led by North Platte and Chadron State grad Danny Woodhead. Woodhead had 4 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown, and he rushed 7 times for 18 yards in the Patriots' 4-point loss. Ex-Husker Prince Amukamara racked up 1 tackle for the Super Bowl champion Giants. Omaha native Dave Tollefson was also on the Giants roster, but didn't play in the game.
One of the biggest business days of the year for any bar or restaurant is Super Bowl Sunday. Brett Kane visited one of those restaurants and found out how they prep for the big day.
The 46th annual NFL Championship game on Sunday featured the New York Giants and New England Patriots. How do businesses in the Omaha area prepare for Super Bowl Sunday? Buffalo Wild Wings on 144th and Maples general manager Leah Fowler says preparation is key.
Oh, definitely, as well as we keep notes from year to year to year. This is my 12th Super Bowl with Buffalo Wild Wings,
So it's kind of learning a science, a method to our madness of just growing on the business, as well as seeing what trends for sales business that we've had previously in the last few months.
This Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant is equipped with over 40 TVs, which makes for a prime viewing experience. But Fowler says takeout triples its sales on the big day.
Super Bowl Sunday, we actually find that in our Omaha areas, we actually do more takeout business on Super Bowl Sunday.
The waitstaff has a routine as well. Server Nermin Demirovich talks about his preparations before the doors open.
Well, if you've worked here before, if you work on a daily basis in here, you know exactly what to expect certain days and what to expect on days like this. Like these big days of the fair, we do preparation in the back, get ready, make sure restaurants, everything looks good, and then just be ready when the doors open at 10 o'clock.
As long as the Super Bowl will be played, there will always be parties. The difference between your house party and Buffalo Wild Wings is that they have over 300 mouths to feed. For Omaha News, I'm Brett Kane.
Buffalo Wild Wings made most of their money from takeout because people wanted to watch the game at home, but they still managed to serve a jam-packed restaurant as well for anybody who wanted to watch it on one of their mini TV sets. The Democratic Party is in desperate need of a standout candidate.
We'll show you which frontrunners decided they're not running for the Senate spot. You're watching the Omaha News.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city, or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.
Nature takes you places where you've never gone before.
It's watching something that's actually happened.
Nature sure draw me in the story.
Just their power and their grace.
It was just so beautiful to watch them.
The movement and just watching the body and watching the chase.
Like this huge, lush, vibrant watercolor.
Tim's.
There was such a shot of underneath watching these elephants swim in this deep water.
I had no idea even they could swim like that.
I saw that one monkey pulling on this one monkey's tail, and the monkey like, man, what you doing? What you doing?
It's like the theater of the wild or something.
7 billion trillion animals living on one planet.
It's like more colorful than than you think life can possibly be.
Somewhere between the mystique and the beauty of it is reason enough to sit down and watch.
That's life, and that's nature.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Megan Lackman.
I'm Josh Gear. To politics now. The retirement of Nebraska Senator Ben Nelson's caused a flurry of political activity in the state. As Democrats face the difficult task of finding someone to face off for the seat in November.
Simply put, it's time to move on.
And with that, the decades-long political career of Senator Ben Nelson comes to a close. Facing a tough re-election against strong potential Republican opponents, Nelson decided to return to the private sector. His retirement leaves Nebraska Democrats asking only one question: where do we go from here?
The Democrats have almost an impossible task. So they've gone from an even bet in Nebraska to a probable loss.
Politicos say this race holds a lot of national importance. Republicans in the field thus far include Attorney General John Bruning, State Treasurer Don Stenberg, and State Senator Deb Fischer. Of the Democrats, only film producer Steve Lustgarten has announced.
Thank you very much.
Up till recently, many speculated about the possibility of former Governor and Senator Bob Kerrey entering the race. Were he to have entered, many expected another familiar Nebraskan to enter the race.
Just for fun in the election season, I hope Bob Kerrey runs. And then I hope Governor Heineman runs against him. I think it could be a really, really important and fun race.
However, it was not to be. 2 days after his victory in the 2010 governor's race, Heineman announced he would not run for the U.S. Senate, words he has since stuck by. Bob Kerrey flirted with running for the Senate through the beginning of 2012, but decided against it Tuesday. His choice to not run, which by his own admission was a long shot, forces Nebraska Democrats into a difficult position.
The Democrats are going to have to find a Bob Kerrey, and that's not easy to do.
Last Tuesday, Bob Kerrey issued an email announcing he wasn't running. In the email it said, quote, "I have given the decision of becoming a candidate for the U.S. Senate very serious thought and prayer. For many reasons, I nearly said yes. In the end, I choose to remain a private citizen. To those who urge me to do so, I'm sorry, very sorry to have disappointed you. I hope you understand I have chosen what I believe is best for my family and me." End quote. Now, the election isn't as far away as you might think, and it's never too early to get started in getting informed about the issues and the candidates. Join us Tuesday, March 6th at 7 p.m. for Vote 2012. Omaha News reporters preview the U.S. Senate and 2nd House District seat for the 2012 election. Vote 2012 will air on the Knowledge Network.
Valentine's Day is coming up, and one area flower shop is getting ready for the rush of people getting their significant others roses. Anthony Pontiero gives us a closer look at how the shop deals with the pressures of V-Day.
Frank Piccolo is the general manager of Piccolo's Florist here in Omaha. The company is the largest florist in Nebraska and was awarded Best of Omaha for 2012. As the 14th of February draws near, St. Valentine begins to put pressures on local florists.
Kind of a last-minute holiday. People tend to put off calling till the last minute, so we have a real big push all at once to get bouquets made, get them delivered.
Although some customers will hold off ordering till the last minute, that does not mean Frank and his team will wait till the last minute to start creating arrangements.
Valentine's Day I will probably work about 60 some hours that week. We're fortunate that we have a very large crew here, so that really helps to spread the workload out, because we'll start working early on, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll get a bulk of things ready to go so we can get a lot done over a period of time instead of keeping everything all to the end.
As Valentine's Day inches closer, Frank will need more than just Cupid delivering love.
We'll probably be around 800 deliveries for that day, which is quite a lot. They'll run 18 to 20 drivers around town to do that. And workload, in addition to the original, you have a tremendous amount of walk-in people too, so we've got to have a lot prepared for them, have that all ready to go.
Although the pressures of Valentine's Day may be large, Frank still knows how to treat his customers.
Valentine's Day, and I really enjoyed the service here. Frank was really helpful and made a beautiful arrangement for me, so I'm really happy with all this.
Frank enjoys the excitement that Valentine's Day brings and reminds everyone it's never too early to begin placing orders. With the Omaha News, I'm Anthony Pontiero.
For more information on Nebraska's largest florist, go to piccolosflorist.com, where you can buy flowers or even shop by your price range, whatever that may be.
Well, we're now joined by UNO Student Health Service Director Marcia Adler, talking today about the bed bug problem we've been hearing about on the UNL and the UNO campuses. Marcia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we've been hearing a bit about the bed bug problem in Lincoln. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, from what I know, that they have observed bugs, and now they're in the process of trying to eradicate those bugs in multiple rooms, which is kind of a common problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, common on college campuses. I recall UNO sort of dealt with this a little while ago.
We had a real minor scare in the fall, and it was one case, and the student had the wisdom to come in right away, and we were able to get that handled without having it go to successive rooms, because the student was on her toes and handled it well.
So is that what you would recommend, coming to you guys and you'll kind of help deal with the problem?
Absolutely. I would say it kind of depends on where it originates from. If it's in an apartment, certainly we're a place to start. In a housing situation, the housing directors get involved. In our case, it was the student came because there was a rash, if you will, welts. And she brought the bug with her, and so we were able to kind of back up and look at what she had and make the appropriate calls to help guide her. So at UNO, there's lots of resources because we have hall directors that live on site that can help, folks in the health center can help, so there's lots of resources very quick.
So is it something that, let's say I want to try and deal with it myself, is that something you would suggest at all?
Well, I would say that's a long shot. In years gone by, we've seen bed bug situations come up in apartment complexes, so our students that have lived in apartments. So some of the things I can do myself to maybe ward off or prevent some of this is being smart about what I do. Number one, keep all the junk off the floor. Don't put stuff, keep the floor clutter to a minimum, vacuum regularly, wash your sheets once a week. If you're going to travel, check the mattress at the hotel. When I go into a hotel, doesn't matter how nice the hotel is, I whip those sheets off at the foot. I look around the seam of the mattress. I just want to see if there's black dots, if there's any bug debris, and then I put the bed back together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, real quick, before we go, I find bed bugs. Who do I call?
If you find bed bugs at the university, obviously you would call either the health center, the residence hall people, or we have a very good facilities team here at the university that can help with all those things. So we have lots of resources here. If you're in an apartment, you need to immediately let your apartment manager know. If you stay in a hotel room and you pull those sheets back and you see something, don't set your luggage on the floor, get out.
Absolutely.
And that's the other piece that you can't stay away from these. These exist everywhere. They can live up to 2 weeks with no host. So you've got kind of a scenario, and they can live up to 10 months in an empty apartment. So even though the apartment's empty, they could be there in the cracks in the walls.
Yeah.
So
find it and call.
Exactly.
UNO Student Health Services Director Marcia Adler, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up, there's a place in Omaha that makes everybody feel like they can jump like Michael Jordan. We'll show you where it is after the break. You're watching the Omaha News.
Something new. Or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside.
There's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
It would seem almost impossible. Or push the limit.
Large tornado! It's humongous! You need to get out now!
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there.
We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished.
You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
With the metro area expanding so much in the past decade, it also brings a new twist to games such as volleyball, dodgeball, and even fitness. Robbie Pinkelman has more on the craze that has everybody jumping around.
After a big snowfall Omaha just experienced, people are looking for fun things to do while still staying warm. Defy Gravity is one of Omaha Metro's newest attractions, which is a 6,000-foot trampoline complex that includes many activities and events to help beat those colder months.
Special events right now, we're working on getting volleyball leagues going in here. But we do have dodgeball leagues that start up on February 23rd, I believe. And then we're going to also have a volleyball league with the same thing, but that hasn't started yet.
In addition to the trampoline complex, Defy Gravity also allows you to recreate your favorite spy movies in what they like to call the vault.
The best way to describe it is that you think of it like a bank vault. And so you enter the room, and right when you enter, you tripped off a silent alarm, and all the lasers come on. So you got to hurry up as fast as you can, get through, and get back to get out and away from the cops before they get there.
After jumping and dodging for hours, Defy Gravity also provides a full concession stand called the Skybox, which has a full ice cream bar as well. With TVs located all around the complex, it makes it easy for you to keep an eye on your little ones as they join in on the jump sessions, which run every half hour. Not only is this a great way to stay out of the cold, but it also hosts party rooms for birthdays and gatherings. This is their 4th week since the grand opening, and since then, Trampoline Complex is jumping with business.
For the Omaha News, I'm Robbie Pinkelman.
For more information, go to defygravityusa.com, where you can reserve a birthday party or see what events you can participate in. The UNO hockey team sits with a 12-11-5 overall record after a tie and a 2-point loss in a 2-game series against the Bemidji State Beavers. Now UNO has to bounce back with a 13-hour bus ride to Houghton, Michigan to battle the Michigan Tech Huskies. UNO is in a 3-way tie for 5th in the WCHA standings, along with Michigan Tech, which is only 1 point above 8th place. There are only 6 teams that go home in the ice in the conference playoffs, which means this is a huge series for both teams.
From the ice to the hardwood. In their first season of Division I transition, the UNO women's basketball team is 13-11 on the season. They only have a 2-9 record against Division I teams, including an 81-48 loss at number 14 Kentucky. Paige Fraundorfer from Humphrey, Nebraska, leads the Mavericks, averaging 12.8 points per game. Their next game is Friday, February 10th at the Sapp Fieldhouse for their last home game of the season against Dakota Wesleyan.
The UNO men's basketball team is also struggling in their first season of transition. The Mavericks are 10-15, 1-12 against Division I teams, with lowlights being a 42-point loss to Michigan State and a defeat to the hands of NAIA opponent Briarcliff. The leading scorer for UNO is Mitch Albers, a Papillion La Vista grad who is just 90 points off Dean Thompson's school record for points scored in a career, with just 4 games left in the season. The Mavericks' next contest is Sunday, February 12th on Senior Day against Division I opponent Cal State Bakersfield. That's it for this week's news edition of the Omaha News. Thanks again for watching. Looking for more? Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/theomahanews or search Omaha News on Facebook.
While you're there, you can check out the news stories our reporters have covered, submit story ideas of your own, or give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. From all of us here at the Omaha News and UNO Television, have a great night.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
KVNO was in a really interesting place. This Victorian mansion near UNO.
3 floors. The studios were on the 3rd floor.
Bedrooms and bathrooms. So we had a challenge, but we ultimately ended up with an on-air studio.
We soundproofed it with carpet, and actually I think it sounded really warm, very radio friendly.
There were also rumors that the 3rd floor was haunted. Those were the maid's chambers, as we were told.
I had a sink in the office and leaded glass windows which looked out on the stable house in the back.
One colleague talking about having the window open one day, a warm spring or fall day, and a squirrel jumping through the window onto a turntable.
It was a great place, a great ambiance for a fine arts station.
It definitely had a charm to it.
Watch the Omaha News Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on the Knowledge Network.